Hello everyone! Today I will talk about the marking criteria for IELTS and how you can calculate your own band score. The best thing to do when you self-study for IELTS or when you study for pretty much about anything is practice, 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 practice and practice. The golden rule for anything. One thing you can do is to buy a book with practice tests for IELTS that also provides the answers and the explanations to the answers. If you don't want to buy a book, that's okay, because there are lots of practice tests online. And now you're going to probably ask me, okay Dory, I do these practice tests and I study and I check out my mistakes and I try to understand them, etc, 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 but how am I supposed to know which is my band score in each test? That's a pretty good question, and here comes the answer right away. In terms of listening and reading, you can calculate your own band score pretty easily, but approximately. In listening and reading, both academic and general, there are 40 questions that you have to answer. Let's just say that you answer correctly in listening the 25 of them and in reading the 20 of them out of 40, okay? These 25 in listening and these 20 in reading are actually your raw scores. That is, the questions that you answered correctly. These raw scores, the 25 and the 20, correspond to an IELTS band score. And now you're going to ask me, how do I find these IELTS band scores? These band scores tend to change according to the difficulty of the exam, and this is why I told you that you can calculate yourself approximately. There are charts in order to help you calculate your band score and be able to know more or less where you stand, so don't worry. Down below I have added a chart that shows how you can calculate your IELTS listening and reading band scores, and hopefully you will find it useful. Now, according to this chart and to our example, if you get a 25 raw score in listening, then your band score in listening is 6, and if you get a 25 raw score in reading, then your band score is 5.5. Mind you, these are approximate values only. Now, in terms of speaking and writing, things are a little bit different. You can't really mark yourself in writing and speaking, but here are some things that you should know. In writing, examiners will check you on task achievement or task response. That is, if you manage to answer the question thoroughly. They will also check your grammar, your syntax, your vocabulary and its variety, the organization of your essay as a whole, paragraphs and coherence, and your spelling. Please be careful with your spelling. If you're used to writing in Word or in any other autocorrect program, please stop doing that. Start to write your essays with your hand and a pen. In this way, you will be able to see your weaknesses in spelling and correct them. Now, why do I focus so much on spelling? Because a lot of students tend to think that, come on, a tiny spelling mistake here and there, it doesn't really matter. Well, I got news for you, it does. And they consider spelling really, really important. So, please be careful with spelling, okay? In speaking, examiners will consider your fluency, your coherence, your accuracy, the vocabulary you use, and its variety, of course. All in all, if you're able to communicate well and answer the questions without any problems or misunderstandings. They will also consider your pronunciation. Of course, they do not expect you to talk like a native speaker. If you can, by all means do, that's an extra bonus, but what they really want to see is that you utter the words correctly and that you're understood clearly without any problems. Your overall band score is the average of your 4 separate band scores in listening, reading, writing and speaking. For example, let's just say that you get a 6.5 in listening, a 6 in reading, an 8 in writing and a 7 in speaking. This amounts to 27.5 and their average is 6.875. When you see these two, 75 in the end, then you should round up your band score, 6.875, to the next band score, that is 7, and that is your overall band score. Let's see another example. If you get a 5.5 in listening, a 5.5 in reading, a 4 in writing, a 6 in speaking, then the average is 5.25. When you see 25 instead of 75, you round up, you still round up, but not in the next band score, but in the next half. That is, your overall band score is 5.5. However, if you achieve a 5.5 in listening, a 5.5 in reading, for example, a 4.5 in writing, and a 5 in speaking, then the average comes out to be 5.125. We have 25 in the end, but there is 1 over here. In this case, and in this case only, we do not round up to the next half band score, as we said in the previous example, but we round down to 5. Okay? This is your overall band score. Well, that's all you need to know about marking criteria for IELTS and how to calculate your own band score. If you have any questions, you can ask me and I will answer. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with the exam.